listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
We've done this before.
Energy is Love podcast.
Did you know that?
For the universe.
Yes.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Oops.
Clearly we haven't.
This is how we used to do it.
It's not obvious if you were to watch us. One of these days we should set up another camera that is just the recording of us getting ready
Why would we need another one?
without any editing.
Just leave that
involved.
one there.
That's true. We just turn that thing on and record everything.
Yeah, just from the get-go, including the adjustments.
All the adjustments and all the banter and all the back and forth
Yeah.
and then finally the pressing of the play.
Yeah. They'll see you be all like, hold still, sit up, don't move. Okay, go.
Did I get a little bossy?
No.
I do.
No.
Yeah, I totally do.
I was
get a
thinking
little,
demanding. No, I'm just teasing. Actually, you're not
little-
bad. It used to be, I'm going to spoil it right now. I found recordings of Asher.
Oh, shit.
Did you get a little limey in there?
Yeah, I got a little zest.
Little zest? Recordings of Asher that you did that I thought you put in the podcast. So I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
That's rude.
It's not.
It's rude, especially when you led him and me to believe.
I didn't, though.
So there's 2 recordings
Okay.
and they're fucking cute. And at one point you're like, one was 2016. And so it was
Like
funny. You're
4
like,
years ago,
you're
almost
like, get
5
up
years
to the
ago.
mic. Do me a favor. It was just, he was being so cute. And he was talking about how he was sad that Stevie and Maddie were leaving to DC.
Oh.
And he's like, this little tiny little munchkin voice. He's like, can I tell you a secret? It feels like I can't breathe. It was like, because they were leaving.
Oh, goodness.
It was really cute. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did you not? So I think they want to hear.
Well, I haven't listened to them in so long.
I don't care.
I know I've got them saved.
I'm just going to upload them when you're gone.
Well, what I can do is listen to them and maybe throw it on the back end of this episode.
On the back end of this one?
Well, like, are we going to pause in the middle of this?
Do
and
you
then put
have
it in there?
it on your computer? Because the only
so.
reason I had it is because I have your old computer.
Yeah, I saved it.
And I was looking for logos, which I couldn't find. And I was like, Asher, click. And then I was like, oh, because now he talks like a man.
He does. Well, he tries to talk like a man.
He does. It's just he tries to talk like a duper man when he notices somebody's listening.
A duper?
Deeper.
Oh, a deeper.
Duper. Duper. He gets deep. And it's funny because if you call him out on it, he'll just start laughing and be like,
Yeah.
it's cute. But he had a little munchkin voice.
He
It was
did.
just a little bitty voice.
Yeah. I'll go back and listen to him. Maybe I'll throw him in there. We'll see. He just needs to come on the pod. We just need. To
He's
have him
been
come
on
the-
it twice.
He hasn't been on it twice.
He's been on it twice.
Okay.
I thought you aired the one where it was like the bunch of cuts. It was at one of the fairs and you had him on it. I thought.
Oh yeah, I think
I
he was
thought
on
you
that.
aired it.
Yeah, I think it was. It was one of the Infinite Possibilities
Yeah,
Part 2 or something
because I
like
thought
that.
so. He's been on it like 3 times, or maybe it's just that one.
Those
and-
clips were never aired.
I know, that's my point, Craig. Thank you for catching up.
So let's start over. Welcome to
The podcast that may or may not air your child.
the podcast that may or may
Maybe
not
not.
be around next week, depending on whether or not I release these found footage of Asher. I don't remember why. I think the one that we did,
Alright.
there's like a longer half-hour one that we
I
did.
didn't listen to the whole thing because he came in and I didn't want it to. I wasn't sure,
Didn't
so I
want to
heard
embarrass him. I think that was
turned
the
it
whole thing
off.
was that he obviously wasn't comfortable. He was just super embarrassed. So
Do you guys hear that bullshit excuse falling out of his mouth? Those excuses. I'm talking directly to the audience because even they were like, I could feel it. This isn't even out for the public yet. And I could future cast and feel the
okay. Listen here, lady.
What? Am I being...
We'll just have to have him on the show like we have with all the other girls.
Yes, but I want those ones with his munchkin voice.
They're not going anywhere. That's why I saved
I
them
want
for
it
you.
saved in time.
They
Did I
are
say per
saved in time.
saved?
They're saved on the hard drive.
Hold on. There's a word I'm looking for.
Preserved.
Preserved, not per-saved. I was like, that's not it.
Last week's episode,
I
we
want it
talked a great
preserved
deal
in time.
about scatterbrained Stephanie trying to make homemade rolls, and also scatterbrained Craig a little bit. And what now?
Nothing.
Okay. Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Did I interrupt you?
No.
With your preservation?
No. You helped me with a word.
But we're even more scattery today.
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah. We're a little all over the place.
Yes.
Can't, like, trying to focus. My favorite was downstairs before we came up to record, and you told me something about bananas and eggs, and I didn't hear
No, I didn't.
any of it.
I didn't tell you anything about bananas.
Yeah, you
and
did.
eggs.
It's
No.
when I was standing at the counter.
Oh, it was actually bananas and eggs.
Right? And I heard you talking to me, and I knew you were talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also heard the part where you said you didn't hear any of that, did you? And I didn't respond to any of this,
Yes, I know.
but I heard all of it. And then I responded after the fact. So tell us about the bananas and the eggs. What were you trying to tell me? Do you remember?
Yeah, but it's not like, okay, it's cool because Asher's cool. I was trying to carry a bowl of pasta to the front room for him, which is not a hard thing, but I somehow just started to let go of the hot pasta because sometimes I just let go of things, and I panicked and tried to catch it and fumbled and like batted the bowl, and I caught the bowl, but the fork fell. But
Did
I
you
was
like juggle the bowl?
I did. I caught the bowl.
Gosh.
I was so excited. I'm like, ooh, that was almost scary because pasta Alfredo almost went everywhere.
What happened?
I just was letting go. Sometimes that happens.
I'm just doing a good job of
Just
letting go.
let it go. I was saying it. No.
Pasta no longer serves.
Sometimes your hands are just like, I'm done with that. So that's what happened. But he did that at Solberg's. He was carrying the, like, what is it, 5 dozen?
Uh-huh.
The pack of eggs, not like
Flat.
a flat.
Yeah.
A flat of eggs and bananas. And we were walking, just got out to the parking lot, and all of a sudden I could hear all this commotion, and I turn and look, and he sees like, and then catches the bananas and balances the eggs and goes,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
that was really cool. Good job. I couldn't have done that.
That would have sucked so bad
It
if
would have
he had
sucked.
dropped the egg.
Yeah,
I would have felt so bad
I
for him.
felt bad for him too.
Because you know he would have been
And
like,
like,
oh my gosh. They're going to kill me. It's like $6 an egg,
I
but it's
know,
okay.
It's okay. It'll be all right. It was outside. Nobody has to clean it up either.
Yeah,
just
we
throw
can
the
take the we can take the hit.
yeah, it'll be all right. But it was funny because he just ninja'd it.
I went to the grocery store a long time ago. This was a very long time ago when I was like in my 20s. And I got a gallon of milk and came out and set it on top of the car to unlock the car.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was unlocking the car, I watched the gallon of milk slide off of the top of the car and across the windshield and across the hood and smash all over the ground and bust. It was a plastic jug, but it broke open and just sat there and poured out into the parking lot. And it was one of those days where that is the thing that is going to happen, no matter how hard you try not to.
Of course, that happened.
And
Yeah.
it's the thing where you just like stand there and you're like, I'm going to murder like everything. Like, I'm not just going to go for people. I'm going to like everything.
That tree's gone.
I'm
Like,
going to
everything.
blow up garbage cans. I'm going to run over lampposts. It was a horrible day.
Mayhem.
Mayhem. Yeah.
Did you go back in and get another gallon, or just say screw it and leave?
Nope. I went back in and got another gallon.
How did you unlock the car at that time?
I don't remember. I was in the blind
Did you just like
rage.
kick in the window?
Yeah.
You walked home.
Don't you hate days like that,
Yeah.
though?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I haven't had
You
one of
either
those in a
end
while.
up like laughing or just crying. You're
Yeah.
done. Because there's some times when it's like, and then you have a meltdown.
I guess I had one not too long ago. Nothing like that. You know, I didn't bust open a gallon of milk, but it was like the day where I was just grumpy about everything and had to be left alone for the rest of the day.
I was like
I
giving
put myself in a timeout.
giving you space, and then at one point I'm like, can you be just a little easier? And you're like, I know, I'm being a jerk. I'm gonna go lay down. Okay.
I totally put myself in a
You
timeout.
did. It was good.
Yeah.
I was trying to be patient.
Everybody celebrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had an okay rest of the night. It was all right. You were fine too. Like I was the very next night, if I remember right.
Yeah, we had them back to back, I
Yeah.
think.
And then I was like,
Yeah, it's funny. It's been
Yeah.
weird energy this year.
yeah.
Just plain and simple. No two ifs, ands, or buts about it. It has been very weird energy.
It's also been like 7 eclipses this year.
Really?
Instead of normally 5 or so. It's like there's more eclipses this year. How do you say eclipse plural? It's not eclipses.
It's ellipses.
Okay.
It's eclipses.
Eclipses. We had 7 eclipses.
Several.
Many
Susie
eclipses.
sells eclipses by the seashore.
We're fucking tired.
I'm not. I'm wide awake.
That was normal?
Yeah.
That wasn't normal. I'm tired. You're
Are you?
tired. I'm tired.
Well, it's early. It's 4:30 in the afternoon.
No, it's not. You caught my yawn in half. You said that, and I was like, ugh, what? It's like 5:56.
Yeah. Steph and I fasted for the last 40 hours, and we broke fast this afternoon about 2 o'clock. You want to talk about it?
40 hours, yeah. You said that. Do I want to talk about it? No.
Okay, moving on.
You go ahead and talk about it.
Well, this isn't my first foray into fasting, obviously.
But, okay, I've also gone without food, but I've gone without food for different reasons, and I've gone without food with cheats and with alternative. I thought you were making fun of me.
No, I was going to burp.
This is the first time I fasted like this, and that's why I had these results. And I believe it's the first time you have fasted like this. But I don't know if you did fast like this. Did you fast like I did? I tried to give you like tips. I tried to get you to fast like me. I tried to give you, I feel, a more healthy.
Well, tell the people why or how
No,
you fasted.
did you do it? Did you do it like me? You did the cacao with me, so I figured you were doing it with me. Were you not? Was yours just for food?
No.
I thought we were in this together, man.
No, mine was not for food. But you've opened up so much information that you need to share with people. Because they're like, what do you mean? Did you fast like him? What is she talking about?
I'm so tired. Hold on.
You also said cacao. So you have to talk about cacao.
I don't talk about cacao. Jesus. I'm now embarrassed.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a cacao.
Stop. Oh my goodness. I'm really embarrassed.
Oh no, don't be
I
embarrassed.
think it's just because I know I'm loopy.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to make fun of me right now. And I've got one drink down. Not even a beer, like a sip.
I was going to say, baby, that's not a drink. You've had a swallow.
That's what I meant. I went.
You drank just
One
the
gulp.
tip.
Okay, so
Part of your program that you've been participating in.
yes.
I don't want to I'm not making fun of it in any way, shape, or form at all. But I almost feel like we should have some like a ladies group, 3 month long. I don't know what do you want to call
It's a self-initiation journey.
Perfect.
And it's pretty badass.
Self-initiation journey
Kind of.
along with a group of women.
With a group of women.
Okay.
That are pretty awesome.
Yeah. So you've been participating in the last few months, and part of it was a fast.
I know I'm struggling, but you can't say all my words for me.
And then
part of it was they opened it up to a fast.
I was just laying the groundwork for you.
No, you weren't.
I was
You're
pitching
like,
up the softball
you're
for
clearly
you to-
struggling. I'll just tell the story and you sit there and nod. I'm like, that's what happened. I just thank you. They were talking about doing a fast, and I'm very hesitant for a fast because I think I've said on this show before, I'm like, that's anorexia. That's an eating disorder. I'm very against it. Also because I have struggled with not eating, just not allowing food in my body, and then struggling with binging and purging. So whether I'm overeating, not eating, or like removing it from my body, it has been a challenge. So when it comes to fasting, I'm like, that's a slippery fucking slope, and that is not healthy. I still don't think a 30-day fast is a good idea.
You got some big triggers around fasting.
I do. She was talking about a 3-day one, and I'm like, and at first she said water fast. I'm like, not you gonna let us have water? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's
That
like a
wasn't
poor
it.
choice of words.
It was like, she just meant you can only have water.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like you were going to do this for 3 days. You're only allowed water. It was like, this is how long I'm doing it. Where are you at? Where do you want to do? Maybe you're starting with intermitting. Maybe you're going to do it every 6 hours. Maybe you're going to, it was very fluid for each individual and where their needs were. She was going to do water and tea, because the tea aspects of, tea are medicine. So if you're still using things that are medicine, which I deemed coffee medicine, there was still coffee involved, then it doesn't count against the fast. And that's not saying like, I think this salad is medicine. It's like ceremony.
Coffee comes from the earth just like
coffee
tea.
Does. Coffee is. There's things around it I don't have information on, but I'm like, I know there's healing benefits in coffee. So this is totally medicine. And I'm not prepared for the migraines that I would get without coffee. Anyways, you can also do a juice with it if it's a juice fast, or maybe it's just, the intermittent fasting and maybe just a salad. Just so however you can do it the most. And then she talked about how fasting, like for clarity, how you have an intent when you fast. If you have a question, if you have something that's going on in your life that you can fast to gain, like to clear out all the junk on it. And then they talked about a little bit about the church and how, that came up. She was like, you might be familiar with this. I grew up, and that was what it also triggered in me.
You got to remember, we got lots of people listening.
Okay. So the LDS Church.
There you go.
And that's also something else that it triggered in me, because I am pretty much against everything LDS. I don't have...
So the Mormon Church, the LDS, Latter-day Saint, the Mormon religion, they have something they call Fast Sunday. And so I don't know if it's once a month, or honestly, I don't know what it's in conjunction with or how often they do it, but they do a thing called Fast Sunday where they fast.
I'm talking too much. This story is going way too long. You should just tell it.
No.
I can just tell that getting to the point is taking me too long.
I was just giving context because you said the church.
Because it's taken me forever.
There's a few churches, so we just had to clarify which one we were talking about.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing me because it's taken so long. Oh, anyways, so I was against it for that as well, because anyways. So talking about it, I thought I was going to try it. And of course I wanted to go 3 days, but I was just hopeful for 24 hours. And I was afraid. And as soon as I realized that what I was afraid of was making excuses, I thought, I'm going to try it. And I had intent. I wrote down my intents of what I was fasting for. And I did not expect anything other than hungry and then binge eating and probably triggering old patterns. I was not hopeful, because I've gone without eating before. I've done intermittent fasting. I've done damage fasting. Like, I know what to expect. Yeah. But this was different. I've never done it with intention. I've never done it around, thinking about a full moon. I've never done it just with a purpose that did not involve abusing myself in some way and punishing myself for weight and trying to abuse myself into a lower weight. I've never done it for any other reason. So
that's a big deal, baby.
It is a big deal, but I didn't know what to expect, and it was different.
For sure.
I kept getting waves of energy. There was, a couple of humps of being really hungry, but then it started to shift, and I could feel things leaving, and I could feel calmer. And then when we did the cacao ceremony, I don't know how to describe it.
Us. You and me.
Okay.
Is that what you're trying to describe?
No, the cacao. I'm so fucking loopy. I am not a poster child for fasting. They're like, look she's dumb. Go give her some vitamins. I'm really uncomfortable. It's been a while since I felt like people were on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
It has just been,
you and me
I've got used to it. But now I feel like I don't just feel like there's a camera. It's like I can see everybody. There's a whole audience behind it.
Well,
and I'm kind of panicking. I've never.
You asked earlier if I did it like you did.
Yes.
And the whole thing was, this was your experience. This is what you were doing with your group.
Yeah, but you were doing it with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. That was the whole thing, was this was your experience. And in solidarity and showing support of you going through this experience, because I'm not, it's not foreign territory to me. I have fasted before. I know I've talked about it on the show before, It's something that I've done in the past. It's something that I'm kind of familiar with and that I tend to fuck around with on a pretty regular basis. So I wanted to support you in it, was first and foremost. And then when you started to talk more about some of the intentional things that you were doing behind it and setting intentions to go along with the fast, that really got me thinking. And I started to think about two things. First off, there's this whole thing that I have done lately that I have shifted up inside of the way that I think and process, as well as kind of move through life, and in regards to not just my relationship with food, but my relationship to my body and to my weight. And so much of that has always been a just absolute love-hate. Like, my relationship to my body is bipolar. Like, that relationship is manic and depressive. Like, there's times where I'm fucking high on a kite and everything's fucking amazing and wonderful. And then there's other times when I'm morbidly obese and sad and depressed and feeling terrible. And so my relationship with my body and with my weight has always been this really unhealthy, cyclical thing. And I fucking hate it. I just fucking hate it. It's driven me nuts my whole life, as far back as I can remember. And recently, I've had some clarity around it. And it's, I mean, you know this, we've talked about this, you and I, but the whole thing is like, I'm done fucking caring. I'm just done caring about any of it. I'm done focusing on it. And the mantra that I've been using is, what I focus on, I feed. And it was so clear to me that how much attention and thought and really energy that I was contributing to that relationship in regards to my body and my weight, because it was a constant. It was like the ever-present friend that was with me all the time. And I'm not talking about my body and my weight. I'm talking about like my judgment of it, my relationship with it. So I always had this ongoing narrative surrounding my body and my weight, what I looked like and how I felt and all these kind of different things. Always just running in the background consistently. And I realized that amount of energy that I was putting into that was just feeding it. It was very much just continuing to perpetuate not just that relationship, but also my body in a sense. It was feeding all of that energy into my body. So it's not surprising to me that I'm consistently overweight. And I realized that I needed to not just shift, but I'm like, oh my God, I've wasted almost 40 years of my life doing this. I don't want to waste like any more time. I don't want to spend another year doing it. I don't want to spend another 6 months doing it. So I've been shifting everything in regards to the way that in regards to the way that I think. And my mantra is, what you focus on, you feed. So I still have the dialogue that comes and is running in the background. And initially I was pissed off when I heard it. I'm like, fuck, I got it. And then I became so like down on myself and don't do that and all that kind of stuff. And then I realized, okay, this is like a 35 plus year dialogue. It's not going to change just because I want it to. So I have to be patient with it. And now when I recognize it and when I hear it, I just simply remind myself, what I focus on, I feed. And then that's my way of reminding myself, oh yeah, I'm not feeding that anymore. What do I want to focus my awareness and my energy and my intention on? And it has nothing to do with my body, has nothing to do with my weight, has nothing to do with my like health, has nothing to do with any of that stuff. And so I'm really working on shifting the recognition of when my focus is there, and then just redirecting it in the areas that I want it to go on. Like, I've got so many things that I want to accomplish in life and so many things that I want to do. That's where I want my focus and my energy to feed, not this fucking relationship that I have with my body. Because I know how to take care of my body. I know what my body needs. I'm aware of, you know, what works well for my body. It's not new to me. It's tried and true. I've been with it for a while. I know what works. It was a lot of talking.
I needed the break.
And so when this came up, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that with you. And because you didn't ask, I offered.
I know.
Because that was the thought in my head. I'm like, oh, this will be nice. I'll do this with you. And then I started to think about it. And then you brought in this aspect of fasting with intention, setting some intentions for the fast. And I'm like, what? I every other time that I've ever done it, it has always been in that space of focusing my energy on my body and on my weight. Even though I might have tried to trick myself that that's not what it was, right?
Yeah.
But that's always what it was. And so this time I'm like, oh, this will be interesting, because I still had thoughts that ran through my head like they always do now, but they're getting less. And I just simply remember what I focus on, what I feed. And when I have those thoughts run through my head, but I just kind of let go, and I wasn't worried about not eating or anything like that. I knew what my body would do, and it did it. Like, I'm familiar with the humps you talked about when you get hungry. And so I wasn't worried about any of that stuff. And instead I just kind of listened.
Yeah.
And my intention, like, I wasn't as deliberate as you are. I didn't write out a list. I didn't have any sort of like really clear and present intentions for it. More or less, it was, the intention for me was like, this is new and I want to see. I just want to watch. I want to see what happens. I want to see what comes up. This is a new experience for me. It's different than I've ever done it before. And I just want to watch. And I had so much less stress than I remember ever having when I was fasting or when I have fasted. It was so incredibly, like, just not stressful. Before, it was constantly on my mind.
It's almost like a panic state.
Yeah, before it was like, well, how long has it been? It's been
5 minutes.
26 minutes. Okay. And then I'm sitting there doing the math, and I'm like 32 hours. And then if I go to bed, then I'll be up, and and then that'll give me a day and a half. And like, the whole fucking thing is nonstop. And this time I was like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter at all. And I also didn't have any like preconceived notions of what I was shooting for. Whereas the past, I've been like, I'm going to do at least this much, and I'm going to do at least that much. And then next time I have to do this much. And I just let go of all of that and just watched. And the release was, for me, was just that letting go and the stress that took place, or the lack of stress that took place. So that was really, really neat.
Yeah.
I told you earlier today when I was out shopping and walking around the store, I recognized how much energy I had.
Yeah. What was that?
And just how connected I felt to my body. Like, I was noticing how my body felt good as I was moving, as I was kind of walking around and I was doing stuff, and my body, I felt more connected to my body, and it felt good. And I was like, oh God, I fucking love this feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I love that connection and that clarity. Like, things feel crisp.
Yes.
My intentions and my thought and my actions, they feel crisp and kind of like really dialed in.
I had that too. I had waves of loopy, but my loopy was a good mood. It was like a silly, like I was fine. I was like euphoric.
Yeah.
Not so much after I ate, it shifted, but like there was like euphoria. It was weird.
Yeah. It was neat though. It was a good
really
experience for me.
Thank you for being willing to look at it that way.
Yeah. No, thank you for offering.
That's awesome.
I'm glad that you've been sharing this journey that you've been on with your, tell me again, self-initiated, what is it?
Self-initiation journey.
Self-initiation journey, yeah. I'm glad that you share it with me.
Thank you.
There's been some really, like, part of it is fun watching you go through it. And part of it is fun kind of just being a fly on the wall in a sense, even though, you know, it's just whatever you're sharing with me.
Yeah.
But there's also stuff that I glean from it that has been helpful and been nice and introspective. And I also love what you're going through, and I love what it's doing for you, and the changes and the shifts and all the kind of different stuff that
You
I
see
see
changes and shifts in
Hell
me?
yeah.
Really?
Hell yeah.
You have to tell me what those are.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm like, I was really vulnerable last week.
You were.
And now I feel like the entire audience, the entire world is looking at me right now. And now I have stage fright and I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I've just barely been able to speak clearly. And that's only because you spent the majority of the time talking. I was fumble fucking my way through the entire beginning of the podcast because I could feel like eyes on me.
Do you think it's all stemming because of last week?
All I can think of is like, I've been vulnerable. Now now I'm seen and they can see me. And I'm like, oh God, they can see me.
It's not the first time you've been vulnerable on the show, though.
No, it's not. But I feel like that was pretty.
Some big vulnerability.
Yeah. So now I'm doing that thing where I'm like, peace out.
It's been fun, folks,
Yeah,
but
I let you behind the curtain. Now I got to go. What is it? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
it's good stuff, babe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I know.
And that's
But
what I'm
it's-
talking about. Like, that's a big shift and change.
Being vulnerable,
I think I told you on the episode, like, you
that was clear. Yeah.
have never spoken so clearly about your trauma
Yeah.
and been able to do it not just clearly, but so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, that sounded very loud. Quickly.
And then I come back on again and I'm like, they can see me.
Well, you mentioned earlier we did some cacao yesterday.
Yeah, that was another thing. You
That was
felt
another
it with
thing.
me. I watched you. It was resonating. And when I was talking about the ingredients, because I prepared it. And I do like these herbs. I mix different herbs in there and grind them up. And
Well, do you want to talk about what cacao is and what the process is for you, or do you want me to describe it?
why don't you go ahead and describe it? I think that's self-evident right there, or whatever. You talk. I listen.
Well, no, let's do it together.
No.
Cacao is hot chocolate. On one level.
I guess.
Okay.
No, it's not. That's
Well,
crude.
Well,
That's what I said it was. I'm like, are you serious? We're doing a fucking hot chocolate ceremony.
hot chocolate ceremony with marshmallows.
And then
So, first off, cacao
It's not.
is a fancy word for chocolate. I'm sure it has some other meaning.
it's not exactly that.
But whereas like hot chocolate
don't
isn't.
if you're gonna make fun of it, I don't want you talking about it. Jesus.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm explaining it to the people.
To the people that are
To the
watching
people.
me.
Yes, they're all watching.
Hi.
Now we're gonna have some awkward silence.
Stop it. I'm looking for cacao.
No, but it's like natural dark chocolate.
It's a plant superfood that heals the mind, body, and spirit. It can assist you with healing the heart and has heart opening experiences.
Yes.
That's not chocolate. It's actually a type of shamanic healing, but it doesn't have hallucinogenic or out-of-body effects, unlike some other shamanic experiences. Cacao ceremony is rooted in helping to rebalance the energies within us and restore good health. There are so many different ceremonies in existence today. It's not hot chocolate,
No, it's definitely more.
but it's chocolate.
But it's kind of hot chocolate.
It's kind of hot chocolate.
But it's not. There's way more involved
There's
with it.
way more involved.
And it's not just go to the supermarket and buy some hot chocolate and call it cacao.
Ghirardelli's 100% cacao at Walmart is not cacao.
No, we found that out.
I bought that. I'm like, it's 100% cacao. I'm like, that's it, right?
So the ceremonial part of it comes in the process of the preparation and what the intention is behind everything. It's just like any other ceremony, right? It's the preparation, it's the intention, it's the purpose that you place upon the entire experience and what you get from it, as well as all of the healing properties that exist in regards to the cacao and everything else that you put into it.
Yes.
So one of the things that I love about being with you, one of the many things that I love about being with you, is you are like a supernatural, natural alchemist. So you have this incredible ability to just like pull from everything and put whatever needs to go into whatever it is that you're making at the time. And so this cacao was no different. And you're in the kitchen and you've got your mortar and pestle out and you're grinding up herbs and different spices and things like that to mix in with the cacao. And it was incredible. It was really, really good. And this is the second time that you've done it. And it was different this time. And it didn't have, there were some distinct flavor differences
Yeah.
that were kind of subtle. I guess that's not distinct. There were some subtle flavor differences.
Some subtle clarity, some
Yes.
subtle distinctions.
Yeah. And like some nuances in there that
Yeah.
I could tell was like, oh, this is different. This tastes different. But it felt different.
It felt way different.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was two things. It was in conjunction with our fast, because at that point we were like close to
20 hours. Or no, was it 22? It was 20 hours when we did it.
Yeah. So we'd been fasting for a while, hadn't had any food for the majority of the day.
Correction. It was 22 hours
Copy.
when we did it. Okay. Because I made a note of that.
Did you?
And then when I went back and was thinking, because it was so beneficial and because it was such a different experience and we could sense it everywhere, we could feel it. It was different. But
Yeah.
I'm like, how long did we fast before we did that? Because it was such a
It was a neat experience.
neat experience.
And it had a lot of, I think that for me, I could feel it in my body. It gave me some different types of sensations throughout my body, some different vibration. And it had like a calming, relaxing, as well as kind of an energizing effect over me. And then all the things that you put into it. I mean, you put black pepper and sage and cinnamon and thyme and some other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. Ginger, there was some ginger in there, all these things. And then you read through the properties of each one of those herbs and spices. Excuse me. And they were all very, very applicable to my life and what I was going through and what I have been going through. So that was really neat. That was really neat to see that, as always, you have that innate ability to give me what I need. And if I just take what you give me, typically I'm healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's there. Like, you know, you've always done that. You've always given me what I need. And this little experience last night was no different. But what was it like for you? Are you going to get all mushy now? That's not a bad thing.
Getting all mushy or what? Were you going to say something else?
No.
I'm still really embarrassed. I'm still having a hard time.
Okay. The cacao. What was the experience like for you?
I didn't forget, Craig. I was trying to
The day that we've had it wouldn't be surprising. You're like, I know somebody said something to me. What are we talking about?
I was grateful to sit down and have it with you.
Yeah.
I was grateful because the first time we did it, I just prepared you some and I had my thing and I left you to it with you. And so this was, I've prepared it for us before. This is the first time we've actually got to sit with each other and do it. And that to me was super special. And I told you I was feeling all like euphoric. But when we started drink, like I was smelling it and it was weird. It was like I started drinking it before I started drinking it. And it's like I kept just breathing it in and holding it. So when I was making it, I was smelling the herbs first and just getting this whole, I don't know, this really neat feeling that was coming. And ingredients that were left out, ingredients that were included. And then when it came time, just like that breathing it in, it was like I could feel everything kind of like opening up. And then when we started drinking it, I think I described it as like, I feel like I can feel its vibration. It was way different. We also agreed in that moment that we were going to do a fast and a cacao ceremony every full moon. So I don't know if you forgot that, but it's on the calendar.
I didn't forget.
Okay. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
But it was pretty monumental for me. It was pretty monumental. It just having nothing else in my system and then allowing the medicine from all of that to just like surge through me with nothing else in there and still keeping with intent it was big. It was really big. And I felt very calm last night and like very blissful. And I know I would have slept well if I wasn't pounding so much water, trying to help with the hunger that I was getting up to pee constantly because I just felt so good. And like some of the clarity, I had some big clarities. I had some things come up that pushed me outside of my comfort zone, something that I did that felt out of alignment with me. And instead of it going unnoticed, or once I noticed it, just like pushing it away or letting the shame, it stuck with me, but not in a shame way. I mean, I felt shame, but it stuck with me in a fix this. You can fix this. You can fix this. You can fix this. You can fix this. And then like I reached out and like humbled myself and fixed it. And it was immediately fixed. And then all that just kind of like, whew, and then it was gone. It wasn't how you keep like beating yourself up or I shouldn't have done that or I should have done it this way. It was like, here's this. This isn't true to me anymore. I'm going to correct it. Now it's true to me. And off we go. And it was totally fine. It was like, what the fuck? I've never done that. So that was pretty cool. And then it brought up another aspect that I'm struggling with. And it like basically called me out on my shit. Even though I'm coming at it with really good intentions. It was like, hey, you done doing this? Like, I don't know. I might not be. That's why. But I hadn't even seen it. And now.
What was that one?
Do
Do you want to share it?
Okay.
You don't have to.
Let's see if I can get my words. Just when I was like laying over here on the floor doing a meditation. It was before, like right before we broke it. And
Broke the fast.
Mm-hmm. And meditating in a deep meditation while fasting at the end of like, that was also, I was like, my whole body was like, woo, 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 woo. I'm like, this is fucking cool. Like I felt high. I felt like all over the place, and it was nothing. It was just because I was fasting with intent and with love, and it was different. It opened up all of these channels. Anyways, let's see if I can word it right, because it was big. And so my brain kept going, nope, nope, and like trying to block it. And so I kept trying to say it over and over again. So I had it because I knew it was big. I need to quit hiding behind, I think it was like the facade of compassion to mask my limiting like self-worth. I don't know how to even such a thing. It's so hard to try and put. Essentially, it's like being really compassionate and really graceful and like really giving and withdrawing as you look at your watch, looking at like just really like, no, here's this, being compassionate, which I am, but also because it is far easier to be overly compassionate to somebody else than it is to accept worth, accept praise, accept gratitude, accept. So it's like, no. And here, no, this is for you. And because I don't feel like I'm worthy. And so it just is like a falseness, even though I'm not being false, but just that realization of like, it's good to be compassionate, but maybe we're being a little too like too understanding, too giving, too like, oh no, I couldn't. Oh, yes, you can. And yeah. So that's kind of hard. And it's kind of hard to admit because it makes me afraid. Then it takes me back to like the self-doubt talk. It's like, oh, so you're not compassionate to other people. So you're just a selfish bitch is what you are. And so then the bad talk comes in and I'm like, let me. So it's really hard, but I realize that I don't think I'm worthy in a lot of things. So I won't accept praise. I won't accept gratitude. And I have a hard time stepping into things and showing up because I don't think I'm good enough. So I step back, let somebody else go, I may need help. And instead I let somebody else, I'm just trying to be really, really there for somebody, like all these different things. And I've done better in this group. I've let people help me, and I've talked about me, and I've shown up. And so, and it's hard because I see people that I'm talking to about me and they need help. Mm-hmm. And I'm still saying like, well, this is going on with me and letting these people help me. And that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because I can see them and I can feel them. And it's really hard too, because there's some of them that are like, they have the same thing as where people go to them. Like people come to me and that people will open up and do and like, so it's like, we're so similar in that. And I'm breaking the cycle. I'm being vulnerable to them. But in doing so, they're still perpetuating the cycle where they're still being there for somebody else. And I feel like, anyways, I kind of broke off onto another tangent, but we're done.
Anyways, Cacao. No, that dynamic where you're speaking out and you're not just asking for help, but you're receiving the help that comes.
Yeah.
And you're saying, this is me, this is where I'm at, this is what I need. That's so incredibly big and so huge to do. And the women that are in that group with you, the women that are showing up and helping you, the women that are holding that space from you or for you, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
they are getting things in return as well.
Yeah, but they need it too. They're just like me.
Okay, but what I'm saying is,
I know, because I know what I get
yeah,
when I help people.
then
But I
you get
also
something.
know I need help.
So it's a cyclical cycle that you can perpetuate with each other,
Yeah.
and somebody has to go first.
Well, I'm going first, ladies.
And it's
Thank you
amazing.
for all your help. You're amazing. Yes, I know I made a mess.
So that's a good thing. I can relate. It's hard. It's really hard to do that. It's so
It's
much
not
easier.
sugar.
It's so much easier to just sit back and help people.
Yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to do shit. Like, it's easy to be there for other people.
It
It's
can
easy
be for sure.
because you can see all the shit because they're sparking shit in you too. So you can see all of it. You're stepping back. You can be there. You're not being vulnerable. It is easy to not be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get tired of it. And yeah, you want help and you have that. But it is so easy to not be vulnerable. To have the container, to hold it, to be the container holder.
You think that's way easier than being the vulnerable one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
I agree. I don't know. I thought about the people that always seem to, because it seems like there's those people that if you create the container, they're always going to fill it.
That's
And
true.
very rarely are they the ones that are holding the container.
That's true.
What is it about those people? Do you know what I mean? Like those people that are always like, oh, you're going to create this safe place for me? Awesome.
Yes.
But it's not in the healthy way.
Yeah, I know what you're
It's
talking
in this
about.
weird unbalanced way of just like me. And like those people drive me crazy.
It takes me a minute to get there. I'm like, yes, I can help. I can help, and I'm all in. And then
Yeah.
pretty soon I'm like, we need some boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries. So big.
Yeah.
What's a new boundary for you?
A new boundary
Maybe
for
that's
me.
what we should do. Remember how we used to do shit every week where we'd be like, what's this? And that's the chat. All
Yeah.
that shit that we used to try to do every week. And then we just
Yeah.
said, fuck it this year for 2020. But maybe that's a thing. Like, what's a new boundary for
What's
you
a new
this week?
boundary? I feel like I've written that down actually, but I can't. A new boundary.
It could be external in regards to relationships and other
I
people,
know.
or the internal, the relationship with yourself and those boundaries.
No, I wish. You know what's really fucked up is I've been sitting here with my journal every single episode, so I could reference it because I'm ready to talk about things, but it just doesn't come up. But I have it here, and the time I don't bring it, I need to reference back to it.
Do you want to go get it?
No,
Okay.
so maybe I'm not supposed to. I'm working on. I don't know if it's a boundary. Maybe it is. Clarity to know who I am and what I want, and peace. And that was what I was fasting for too. Peace within myself, my mind, with decisions that I have made, am making, and will make. Maybe boundary doesn't have to fit. Maybe I don't need to come up with a boundary right now. Maybe it's just self-awareness. I don't have a boundary.
It definitely doesn't have to.
I don't have one. I think I'm definitely honoring myself more, which was a boundary. I do have a boundary. Hold on.
Did you? Oh, take your headphones off. Take the whole table with you. We should show people this entire room one day.
I shouldn't. Well, not till I get it clean.
It's an amazing broadcasting studio. There's an entire group of people back there running the cameras and the microphones and the lights and all the different things.
I don't know how much of it I'll say. So I wrote the word boundaries on here.
Okay.
It was just like honoring and upholding my boundaries, my truth. And I'm not going to read anything else I wrote right now because it seems kind of silly.
That itself is a big boundary.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on. That's been like What are the big things on this initiation journey?
You want me to tell you what I've been doing?
I would love that.
It seems initially, it took me a minute because when I first kind of had awareness of it, I was like, oh, this is just me being an asshole.
Oh.
But however long ago, 2 weeks ago or something like that, we went to Reno and we were driving back. And it's early in the morning. We were on the road and we're driving back, and we had gotten on the road before breakfast time. And as we were driving, I realized, I'm like, I want McDonald's for breakfast. And like right then and there, I made the decision that this is going to sound like a jerk initially, but you have to hear my entire thought process.
Okay.
I made the decision that it didn't matter if you and Asher wanted McDonald's. I was going to stop for McDonald's.
Okay.
Because I wanted it.
Okay.
And normally what I would do is base the decision off of if we stopped or where we stopped off of the consensus of everybody else. But I made the decision that I wanted McDonald's. So we were going to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast because that's what I wanted.
Okay.
Of course, we can stop anywhere else. Like if there was something else wanted or somebody else wanted something else, not everybody had to eat McDonald's, right? It's just the three of us. So it's not like we had a car full like we used to. But back in the day, it was like, we are eating at this one and only place. And whether you want it or not, it's up to you. Get back in the van, we're leaving. But no, it was like just the real clear, I want this. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm totally open to getting whatever else anybody else wants. And of course, if you want the same thing, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with me just saying, hey, I want this. I want to stop here. We're going to stop here. And if there's something else that you guys want, of course, we can stop those other places as well. And so initially, like I said, it seemed like a jerky thing even in my head. But then I just like sat with it as we were driving home. And it was such a big win for me. Excuse me, which is so weird because it's not. But at the same time, it was like, I just realized how much I put myself last. And I mean, you're the person closest to me. And so even that might sound like not reality, because I think about our life and I think about kind of the way things are structured, and it might seem like I'm always doing what I want to do and that I'm always getting what I want. But so much of my decision making is based off of other people. It's based off of what you want. It's based off of what's going to make you happy. It's based off of our children. It's based off of the people that my friends and different relationships and things like that. And just the simple thing of like, I'm not a tyrant, and I'm not saying this is the only place we're going, and if you don't want it, then too bad for you. You're not getting anything else. It was just very clear in my head of like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this is what I want, and this is where I want to go. And so I realized it in that moment and kind of sat with it as we were driving, because it was like an 8-hour drive. We had plenty of time to sit in the van and think about things. But, and then since then, I've kind of been doing the same thing, where it's like the way that it's manifesting, which is silly, but it's just the way that it's showing up for me right now. Is it's like the other day, I'm like, I want kebab. And kebab is this new franchisee yummy noodle place. But I want this, and I'm going to go get it. Do you want some as well? Like, it doesn't matter if you want some or not. I'm still going to go. But that's the way that it's kind of been manifesting. But there's other little subtle things too that I can almost feel and tell, even though they're not as pronounced for me to kind of share. I don't have as big of a grasp of it, but it's just the awareness of it's okay for me to not just say what I want, but then also to like get it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that has a very big, that has a very big energetic shift for me in the way that I think and in the way that I move. And I feel very nervous right now talking about this, and very uncomfortable because I feel like judgy of what I'm saying, even though nobody's judging me. But also like I can almost hear you laughing, even though I know you're not.
Okay, I
And
might be.
And I know that you're really sweet, and I know that you're going to be very supportive of this. But there's a part of me that hears you laughing like your Ray Liotta laugh. Just for people listening, I don't think we've ever actually mentioned the Ray Liotta laugh, but there's a movie called Goodfellas. It's great. And
It's good, fellas.
oh wait, maybe it's The Untouchables. No, it's Goodfellas.
It's Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta.
Okay.
There's a scene.
He laughs in multiple movies.
He does.
He has a signature laugh.
He does. Well, this movie specifically.
Okay.
And but yeah, he's got a great laugh in this movie, and periodically, on a regular basis, I have that laugh of just maniacal, cackling, laughing out loud because something is so absurd and funny. And so I hear your Ray Liotta laugh in regards to like, oh, like Craig's gonna finally get what he wants, right? Because that's what Craig always gets. But the reality is inside of my mind, babe, and inside of my body, and inside of it's not really the reality.
Yeah.
The reality is I tend to put myself last, and I tend to base all of my actions and decisions off of what is going to make the people around me happy. And so I'm going to start with those little simple things. That's a new boundary thing that I've been working on. It's silly on some levels, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Because I'm not a jerk. Like, that's the thing, right? I'm not this controlling, manipulative egomaniac that is just like doing whatever they want and getting whatever they want and making everybody around them suffer so that they can have McDonald's on their way home from Reno. I'm not that guy. But in my mind, that's the thing that I've been avoiding. That's the thing that I've been afraid of, is that I would be that jerky, assholey guy that only thought about himself and never paid any attention to what everybody else wanted around him. And I never wanted to be that guy. I never wanted to be seen as that guy. And I never wanted to behave as that guy. And I don't know. So I'm very nervous now. What do you think? That's my boundary that I've been working on.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying it for me.
Did it initially sound like a jerky guy?
No, it didn't initially sound like a jerky guy. Nothing you said was jerky. I'm just thinking about the event and what took place that day and that McDonald's and what happened after that. And that is not at all the impersonation that's not what you were. That's not
the impression I gave.
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't at all. So I'm like, okay. Because so I'm super grateful for that awareness in the way you described it. Everything that you described, everything that you said did not sound jerky. And now I can apply it to things that may come off differently than you think they are coming off. And be like, okay, maybe this is what's happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important.
It is. It is.
That was a big swallow of something.
Nothing.
Oh.
No, this is important. And
yeah, but what's hard about it for you?
Not. Do you remember when you thought you were being really, really nice and reaching out to me, and then you watched yourself and you were like, that's not how I was behaving at all?
Yeah.
Because you were recording?
Yeah, that was
yourself?
So funny.
Like, that happens like a lot. And so that gives me, like, to hear you pour your heart out like that and how you feel, that gives me moments of when things come up that may look different to me, then I can be like, I can put that filter on it and be like, this. So it's huge, because what you described was, there's nothing jerky about that. There's nothing jerky with putting you on your priority plate, but sometimes your display is different than your intent, as all of us are, myself included. I'm really bad at that.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck did you get that? This is what I said. So I'm just going to work on hearing that on certain areas. And by the way, Another additive of it, when you're like, I want kapok, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get some kapok, because I don't often do that. So when you want kapok, I'm like, family, let's celebrate. Yeah, you want kapok. We all get kapok.
Well, I hope in some way, shape, or form you start following suit, where it doesn't really matter if that is something that I want or something or someplace that I want to go or anything like that. That hopefully you'll follow suit and just be like, yeah, I want this. You want to come along?
Sometimes I do that, and then you still say no.
I say no.
So I don't know. Like, I feel like that's false. You say that. You know what? I opt out of this conversation.
Podcast over.
I opt out. I'm super happy that you are saying things for you.
Yeah.
And I think you should just stick with your own advice.
Well, I will follow my own advice, and I encourage you to.
I do not think you should. I think you should listen to yourself. Why don't you start fucking there?
Oh gosh, you're so funny. I love you.
I love you.
Let's wrap and go eat some more food. We did not break our fast with beer, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We broke our fast with actually good, legitimate, and this is good beer too.
You made good food.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Good food.
And we've only got like 4 or 5 episodes left this year.
I know. Are we going to do anything special for the end of the year?
I think we have to.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
I need to get over my newfound stage fright.
Yeah. I don't know what we're
Fuck.
going to
I'm
do.
really
but
embarrassed, actually.
especially this year of all years, we definitely need to do something special. Whether
Okay, special. Should we do a nude episode?
That would be so
Naked.
fun.
I'm just kidding. YouTube. I'm just
That would
fucking
be so
kidding.
funny. We could do like butcher paper or something like that in front of us. So we'd be naked behind the paper.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, butcher paper. I was like, are we in a horror film?
I don't know where butcher paper came from.
We're not going to do that.
Plastic bags.
Plastic.
Let's do an episode in Ziploc bags.
How about something that's not Dextery?
Okay.
Like,
That's not serial killer.
what about lace?
Lace?
You can be in lace.
Lace is nice.
I don't. Do we have lace?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, but I'm sure we can buy some. We'll come up with something fun.
We're not going to do nude.
I know we're not.
Okay.
Obviously.
What should we do?
If you have ideas.
Do we have, I was going to say, do you have ideas?
Yeah. If you have any ideas, shoot us a message. Go to the website, ENERYISLOVEPodcast.com, and click on contact. And then send us a mother hugging email. And if you've got any ideas of how you'd like to see this year wrap up, or fun ideas that we could do to wrap up this year, this amazing 2020, let us know.
Okay.
But yeah, I love you.
I love you.
Everybody go have a wonderful day.
And watch The Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, we probably will do a whole episode.
You think? I'm
No.
just going to say go watch it.
Let's do an episode where we play chess. That'll be the big episode this year.
No, you just want to make, he wants to make fun of me.
I don't. Queen's Gambit is a great series on Netflix. Go check it out. And yeah, we'll see you next week
Next week.
on this podcast.
Hopefully I can think.